Okay, perfect.
Here we
Hola,
are.
hola.
Oh, ciao.
Hello, with my friend Alessia Fantini. She's from Italy. We're gonna speak in English, of course. And she's a vegan. She's a YouTuber, and also she has a lot of good content on Instagram. And she's passionate about fitness and veganism. And she has a lot of social media experience. She has a YouTube channel, very active. She shares videos of fitness and um, also vegan culture and vegan lifestyle. She's very passionate about it, and that's a big connection because I'm also vegan. So I'm happy to talk to her. But the subject now is a different thing. We're going to talk about my series, and I asked Alicia if she can help me to just do this recording.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here and with Kinti, who is like a film director. He studied in Chile. Where is he from? And even though he was from northern Chile, he moved to Valparaiso and he found this very vibrant, full of culture, and very nice city on the coast where I think he really enjoyed it. So he decided to make a TV series about it, and that's what we are gonna talk about it. He loves traveling and he lived in many places in Europe, in Australia, in New Zealand, and he worked there as a freelancer. And he's into mindfulness and an alternative lifestyle. So I think he's a really interesting person. And here we are.
Well, thank you so much for that presentation.
Was good?
Yeah, I mean, you said lots of nice things about me. Thank you so much. So,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you again for joining me on this, and thank you to the people that are listening. And just give you the word so you can ask me questions about the series, anything you want to know.
Yeah. I want to know where it has all started.
Well, just I want to know. I want to let know people know that today we shared this video, this series on YouTube, and that's the reason why we're doing this, because we want people to get informed about it. So yeah, it's already. You can check the link on this description of this video, and you can watch the first episode of this series.
How
Um,
many episodes are
it's
in total?
eight episode of around 50 minutes. It's a fiction project. We made it in Valparaiso. It's a very unique TV series about a group of young artists making videos. Actually, it's like a metaphor of our life in Valparaiso. And so, yeah, it all started like that. You know, I moved from the very north of Chile to study when I was 18 years old, to study in Valparaiso, and it was great. It was beautiful cultural town, so much fun, music, artists. And I felt like I wanted to share that. You know, I felt that not many people knew how special this city was. But at the same time, I thought that the whole South America was a bit like that, you know, because I haven't, at that moment, I didn't travel much. But then when I started traveling, I realized how important it was. I realized, wow, Valparaiso is very unique. It's not that common. And so I made a film, a first film called Valparadise.
In
And
English or
Valparadise,
in Spanish?
we call it Valparadise because Valparaíso means Vale of Paradise. So we call it Valparadise.
Okay.
It's like a joke.
But the movie, like the film, is in English or in Spanish?
Everything is in Spanish, but it has English
Okay.
subtitles. So the
Awesome.
Valparadise has English subtitles. It's available on YouTube. It has around, I don't know, more than almost 300,000 views. It's been there for like a few years, and uh, I'm very happy with
Great.
the project because it's a very like non-budget crazy film. So then we wanted to continue this work, and we made this TV series somehow, which is the similar thing. It has the same vibe, the same energy, artist in Valparaiso. But now we had a bit bigger budget, and we could do it with more quality and have a an incredible casting, and I don't know, incredible camera. So it looks very professional. I'm very proud of this project.
That's awesome. And where did the idea of the story of that is in the series come from?
Yeah, this project, I started this project with a friend of mine called Pablo Figueroa. We had the idea of making something like a TV series about young people, and I had in mind Glee because I was watching actually at that time Glee, and we were thinking about series, and I thought it could be great to make like a Glee but more like alternative, more independent. So the other project we had in mind was Skins, this British. I think it is Skins
Series?
from England and also from the US, not too sure. And
Yeah,
so,
yes, from England. I mean, it's shooted in England, so.
okay. So we had those two projects in mind, and I was very excited to make something like that, more fiction. My friend wanted to do something more documentary, similar to a documentary he was developing, a type of series. And at some point of the production, my friend wasn't okay with his health and the decisions of the project, and all the pressure and tension made us take the decision of just like me continuing the project and just moving more into like fiction, even though
Okay,
I
so
love
he stepped
documentary.
back. He was not
Yeah,
involved anymore
yeah,
in
we asked him because we had some differences that they were too radical, and
Okay,
I it was very hard for me because I'm not a person that will take that type of decision of putting a friend out of a project. But his health wasn't good, and he was struggling before, and at that point I didn't feel confident to continue. And it wasn't only my decision, it was kind of the whole team. I feel they all wanted us to ask him to give a step out of the project at that point.
right.
But we still are in contact, and I mean we still have his ideas, and lots of characters and things of him are in the project somehow.
Awesome.
And yeah, we also paid him his work, and we tried to do it as fair as we can. um, yeah, for me it was the most difficult, painful thing at the beginning of the project, not with only him, with other people also that were part of the project, because most of them weren't prepared for what we were doing. And
In terms of what? What do you mean prepared in, yeah.
I think I was very kind of naive because I like film and I just wanted to work with friends, and people that I know. And
Because it was one of your first projects, this one?
this is my first project that I have like a
Ah,
proper budget and a big
okay.
casting, but it was going from 0 to 100. It was a huge project.
Also a lot
And
of responsibility, I guess.
exactly, it was actually when I realized we got the grant and I realized the project, and I thought, well, I'm gonna die for 2 years. I'm gonna just be working on this so much, and
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I want it. I thought at some point, actually, at the beginning of the project, I just asked me to have a contract and kind of be out of the major production responsibilities, and that was my last decision with this friend that I mentioned. But
Okay.
actually, he didn't manage to do the production work thing and have the company as it should be. So he was failing a lot in his producer responsibilities. At some point, I had to be the director and producer of the project, and it was way too
So it
much.
was a lot on you, everything on you, kind of.
Exactly, and just the artistical part was difficult enough for me, and taking the responsibility of the whole
Also
rest of
for
the
the
staff,
organization.
it was
Yeah.
way too much responsibility. And I couldn't, and my friends weren't prepared for the project. I just don't want to be I'm not judging them, but it's a fact. We didn't have much experiences in terms of directing and making the film and the artwork. I was very confident. I knew 100% of what I was doing. But in terms of having a company and the production
Managing.
stuff and the managing, that was very complex. And I didn't, honestly, I would rather have a producer that knows how to do all that pretty well, organized and clean.
Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't have that at that point, and my friends were struggling in many ways, and I just noticed that they weren't prepared for this. And so we had
So would
like
you
a
say
little
that
bit
this
of,
was the biggest challenge of the project?
that was a huge challenge. I think it's the main reason how we had a big delay with the project, and because I didn't assume only the director part, I had to assume the producer part. And so it was very tough for me, but at the same time very empowering. I managed to do it somehow. And I had a good friend, Maximiliano. He's a lawyer, and he came out of nowhere. He was a friend of a friend, because we struggled. We didn't have our own company, so we have to ask all the friends to use their company in order to get along with the paperwork and the. So we created a company with some friends, and one of them was Max, that I didn't even know, and he became very helpful because he was more prepared for this, and he was a lawyer and an accountant. Actually, he was the person behind the solving lots of production problems, and so
And
yeah.
also, do you think, so that's for sure like a challenge, but do you think like the budget was enough, or also that was the challenge?
Well, I was telling to you about this before. The budget thing. It was very complex because, from our perspective of making a film with no much budget, we thought, well, having $500,000 sounds fantastic. We're rich, and so a lot of people that are not used to business and projects, they thought, well, let's just like give me some money, and it's not that simple. Actually, one of the person also I had to move out of the project. He wanted to get some revenue in order to develop all the projects, and I tried to explain to him, like, I can't do that. I need to develop the project. I need to pay people. It's not that I can just use this money as so that's what I meant, that they weren't prepared.
Yeah, yeah,
They wanted
yeah.
to
So
use
it
it.
also,
They
mm,
wanted to use the resources of the project in another way, and it was so complex. And I didn't even wanted to deal with that. I just wanted someone else. Actually, that I did that. I just hired a producer with a bit more experience, um, and also I trust him because I knew him from years. And so I just asked him, "Can you just deal with this? Can I trust you? Because I don't want to do with payments and transactions and stuff, because that's not
yeah,
my
yeah,
work. I'm an artist. I'm a filmmaker. I want to deal with. I mean, writing 8 episode of a TV series is also a challenge enough for
yeah,
years.
of
And
course.
I had to lead a group of all the four writers, and it was super complex. And so, but the main thing for me, that it was, well, that was like the essential challenging thing, like working in a
But you also
project.
learned a lot, so you
Oh
can,
my God.
yeah, that's a
Well,
good side of the challenge.
I learned that when you see the credits of TV series, they normally have one director per episode, and they normally have lots of producers and lots of people. And you say, "Oh, why so many people here?" Well, because this kind of projects require a lot of expertise and a lot of people knowing what we were doing. And it
Yeah,
wasn't the case. It was the opposite. It was a bit of more like people with personal problems, bringing them to the projects and to the project. And I couldn't. I assumed like a protector of the project, and so I said, "Sorry about the resources of the project are for the projects and for the project, and I just have to guarantee that this project gets to a good ending, and we make this series because I love it, and it's."
yeah,
And actually, what is very common in my country is that a lot of people, they take some benefits out of this project. They, buy their own houses or their cars, and they find a way, in a legal way, to manage the resources in a different way. And I think, from my experience and what I know of the media in Chile, I understand lots of people have personal problems, and they use this project in that way. But I would never do that, because I love film, and this is our resources from all Chileans. All people is from the States, and they're supporting this project. So I just wanted all the resources of this project be used in the right way. And that was always our posture with the producer also. So we love what we've done. The only thing is that making a TV series is very expensive. It's very expensive if you want to pay to all the people in the right way and do everything as it should be. the numbers go super high, and we don't have much difference between the United States and Chile, you know. And the United States, the budgets are 3 times, you know, Breaking Bad, for example,
Yeah.
which is, it will be at least between $3 and $4 million per chapter, and we have $30,000 per chapter. So we wouldn't even close to a normal, you know, a budget in the US. And Chile is not that much cheaper. You know, we're not a place in Africa where things are absolutely cheap. You know, that's not the reality of Chile. The lifestyle is it's cheaper, but not as much. You know, so
Right.
so there's a lot of misconception about this. And also the National TV Council, like, instead of producing, from my perspective, instead of asking us as creators, because we're young and you just want to do films or TV series, we want to do a lot. You know, sounds great making 8 episodes, but the truth is, like, that's not a proper budget, and we should focus more on pilots, as the whole industry does it. And I use this analogy: it's just asking young people, for example, you wouldn't ask the young engineers from Chile to do 8 cars, you know, with a very limited budget.
Start with like a prototype.
We're going to start with 8 cars, you know, and see how it goes. And you have the 5% of what the engineer industry, not even 5%. You have like 0.1%, and do it. And then, oh, the results are not good, or you're not doing it on time, or it's not okay. But it's just ridiculous, you know, because if you look at the world and how the production is done in our field, the way you produce a project is by making a pilot and then looking for a studio or a big company that will be able to support that pilot. And then no one takes any risks. You just make a pilot. But in Chile, the national, they want as much production as possible, and they have more like a TV mentality, of course, and they want more like a soap opera, maybe quality, I don't know, like more simplicity, and produce more. And I think that's not the right use of the resources, you know. Like I'll focus on doing things as the whole world does it, you know. Like, how do the whole world produce new cars? Well, we develop a prototype, and then from that we look for the resources in order to produce how it, you know. And that would be actually
a step by step to follow, like.
Exactly. And that would be great for the Chilean industry, because if we just focus on pilots, then you can test them now online. You don't even need to do any resources in terms of I'm trying to get to the studios anymore, because we have social media. So if you test a pilot online and it works and people are liking it, and then you just continue to develop that project, because that it's already successful and you're testing it, you know. And that's for me
the biggest challenge, right? You said. And so if we go on the bright side, what was the biggest achievement?
If we go in the vegan side of the moon, well, that's Alessia. Sorry, it's Alessia, right? That's the right pronunciation. Alessia. Yeah. I love it. I love Italian accent. So the vegan side of the moon is Alessia YouTube channel, and also Instagram account. If you want to have a look to her content, she has lots of workouts and nice vegan conversations. It's in Italian, but it's very beautiful language, and I think it's similar to Spanish. So my friends that speak Spanish, they can get it. But with the workout, we just need to see you and just follow you. So
exactly.
Sorry, on the right side of the moon, and the right side of the project, I think it's, for me, was like making 4 films at once, you know? So I feel so confident now in terms of as a filmmaker, because I had to solve so many challenges. It's just ridiculous. When I look at it, it's just the most ridiculous way of starting a film career. And
so that's awesome. Like, your biggest challenge then became your biggest achievement. Like,
of course,
how proud you feel about it.
It's like putting myself in the most difficult situation as a filmmaker ever. You know, I don't know other filmmakers that have been in such a challenging situation, because we had 2 months to film 8 episodes of this series, and I wanted to do it in the artistical quality. I don't know. Yeah, I mentioned Breaking Bad, or any other series, schemes, and that's the standard of. I mean, I wanted to, because for me, narrative is more important than special effects or stuff like that. But we actually have some special effects and stuff. So we wanted to do it as better as any other series. You know, be competitive. We want to. My responsibility, it was, if I'm doing a film with resources of all Chileans, you know, a TV series, I want this project to be successful not only in Chile. I want it to be successful in all the world that people speak Spanish, and hopefully, you know, conquer other markets, and you know, make it as better as I can. So I have this high level of expectation and standards that I wasn't able to. I wouldn't ever trade. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we achieved that. I mean, I like the result. I mean, it took me 2 years extra of what I planned, but I do love the project. It's the most beautiful thing I ever done in my life. I'm so proud of it. I'm so in love, and I think it's the greatest contribution I can do to other people's lives. You know, it's a lot of entertainment. It's very educational. It's very positive, very cultural, musical. It's fun to watch, and I haven't seen any TV series in South America like this. You know, and
Yeah, then since you mentioned all like something about the content, tell us more about like the narrative. I would love to know more.
well, what I like is this is young people making young stuff. You know, like because films and series are dominated for most of the people, the older generations. You know, and they have this perspective of stuff that's boring from my perspective. So I like that. This is kind of more like punk, you know, like more rock and
Okay.
roll. It has the music I like. It has the colors I like. You know, actually, one of the characters is punk. And
Okay.
also, we talk about veganism. We talk about yoga. You know, like this type of subject, because it's called Taller de Video. It's video workshop, and it's about a group of young students, but they're kind of misfits. They're not successful in any way. So, and the main leader of the group, which is the teacher, she's a lady. It's an actress. She's old, and she's not famous anymore. She's kind of
Okay.
alcoholic, all troubles, and
Well,
she's
wait, this is for real or
no,
no?
no,
Ah,
no. I
okay,
mean,
in the story.
I mean, Vane, the actress, she's very
Okay, okay.
alternative and independent, but she's not.
Okay, okay.
She's not an alcoholic. But the great thing about Vane is that she's in comedy a lot. So that's why we chose her. Also very alternative, and she's a face that it's been around in Argentina because she spent a lot of time there. Also Mexico. So we wanted the series to go around South America. So that's the main reason I picked her, because I think that she's one of the more well-known faces in Chile, and she's so
Oh,
humble and
wow.
nice and cute. Anyways, so Vana is just this lady that is struggling in her life. She has a son that is Vicente, and Vicente, he's having problems because he wants to go to Japan to study film and animation. And his mother, she's always struggles. She's kind of dependent on him, and she has to do this video workshop. This is a way of her to have like a better relationship with his son too. And
Okay.
to this video workshop attend lots of young misfits of the town, and they're very diverse. You know, for example, one of them, she thinks she's a vampire, and so we wanted also to get into this kind of world of you know, the new generation, they like otaku and alternative stuff, and so we wanted play around with what is fiction, what is true. You know, is she a vampire or not? And I found it fascinating. So we had this character, and all the characters, for example, Emilio, uh, he's I don't know, he liked dressing like a woman, you know, like a
Okay.
drag queen sometimes. and he's very free in terms of his sexuality, and this is another phase of Valparaiso. You know, there's a lot of diverse in terms of exploration in those fields of
Alternative lifestyle.
genders and alternative lifestyles. And there's a girl who is more like the vegan activist. There's this punk guy from Spain. We have a character from Spain that it's into more like political projects, you know. Also,
that's awesome that you took like social aspects and stuff that is actually happening and are themes that are common like into the series. That's awesome.
Yeah, we tried to find characters that were fun, you know, and also superheroes. Every one of them is a hero somehow. And that's what's the aim of the project, is to show that diversity is like that, you know. It's just accepting that everybody's awesome somehow.
Yeah, it's empowering, not not there
and,
to build bridges, but
you know, we don't need to invalidate other people, you know, in order to be happy and fun and cool. You know, everybody can be cool in their own way. And that's what I wanted. I wanted cool people somehow, but in their own way. And for example, Jenny, she's a breakdancer, and she's also well, she's very talented, and she represents more like the single mom, the girl that is a bit struggling. And so yeah, and you know, Vicente is this like very relaxed guy who's more like into animation and trying to take care of his mom, which is another kind of archetype.
He's a hero in his way, actually, because he's like doing so much for the mom.
Yeah, we inspire that character like in a Frodo, like everybody around him, it's more cool, and he's kind of the main character, but it doesn't have anything that special apart from his clean heart. And that's what I like of Jan Jacobsen, this actor. And I think he has always a positive heart, you know, and he's such a positive person, and I like that essence, and I wanted that to lead the project in terms of character. There's another character which is kind of the bad guy, that it's a Mexican Chilean mixture, and Juan Cano is the actor, and it's called Jonathan, and the character, and he does a really good work. I'm so proud of him. He because he has a character that you hate, but then you love it, and then you hate, and then you love it, and I just like that, because that's how life is. We're perfect in our imperfection, and
true. So, and it's not linear.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned all of them. Maybe I'm missing one. I'll remember it during the conversation. I'll mention. But those are my special archetypes of the culture in Valparaiso. And
so that's also actually the main message you wanted to get through.
Yeah, the main message, I have it more clear now. At that point, you know, for me, art work like that, like we have intuitions, you know, like I just want to do this, and then you look back and realize, I understand now why I wanted to do this. So at that point, my main subject was diversity. You know, I knew there was something special about diversity, and some people misunderstand this. They think diversity, oh yes, accepting gay people, and thought he might be gay. And it's not the case. Like, what I mean by diversity is just accepting everybody else. So
inclusiveness,
but accepting that we're all different. And I believe in that in a radical way. You know, some people will say, what is happening in the world today is this and this and that. And I'm like, in your world, I totally believe, I'm a radical believer of diversity in terms of everybody has a different world. And your world is different, my world is different, and that's all there is. There is not an objective world. You know, it's always happened. We have a conversation with someone, and then we meet this person again, and we talk about this conversation, and they have a total different perspective of what happened.
True.
And I think it's
so true.
I believe it's true. Whatever that person think and we think is true. It's just two different truths.
Because the perception is different.
And we don't need to invalidate each other in order to have a valid perception. For example, if someone believed that Jesus Christ existed and someone believed that Jesus Christ never exists, they're both right. because there's not an objective one world. There's no one religion. There's no one way, standard way of education. There's no one. You know, I mean, at the same time, we're all one somehow. You know,
Yeah,
the all
and
is the
that's
one, and the one is all. But that's the paradox. But
yeah.
we don't need to control people in terms of this is the standard way, you know, communism, this is the standard way, capitalism, this is the standard. Forget about the standard, please. You know, like the only
Yeah, and also like the way people show up in the world, like they don't have to be like that or should do this or not do this. Like we are all free to express ourselves.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, there's no one way of doing things. So we tend sometimes we tend to say, I should say, actually, this is my opinion and my perspective, and other people may have other perspective, and that's fine too. You know, so it's just that that concept to have it clear. Like everybody's different, everybody think in a different way, and that's okay. And it's and some people will say, yeah, but science and things work in this way, and we can agree in lots of things like human rights, and of course we can agree lots of things. But at the very core of the human experience, I believe we are totally living separate worlds somehow, and it's great what's happening now in the world, because for me it's this moment of truth where we're actually looking at this. We're actually coming across with this challenge of being self-sufficient and not needing the environment anymore, and being aware of our uniqueness and dealing with our own personal stuff.
Yeah, taking responsibility for it, for the world we decide to create.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited to share this project. It's been in my hard drive for so long. And the truth is
And
that we
now finally here is the moment.
finally we're sharing it. But it's true that we haven't done it earlier because we wanted to get a distribution like Netflix or, you know, HBO, like the dream, you know, because we love the project and we think the quality it's very high, and we did it, you know, hard work. But at the same time, since it's our first project, it's like having a first album. You know, we said if a musician wants to have a first album and put it on all the record companies, they're not gonna listen to it because now there's so much content and the whole industry has changed a lot. So even Justin Bieber started his career on YouTube,
Yeah, true,
and
true. Now it's
so
another world in this sense.
it's another
You can
world.
arrive to so many much more people through social media, and like maybe even faster.
Yeah, and we just have to give it up and trust, you know, and trust that this is
True.
the right way. And it's very democratic. We love it. And I have experience in my family of people being very successful on YouTube. So yeah, we're giving YouTube a shot. And
And
yeah, so
how often do the episodes come on YouTube?
I don't know. We were thinking about it because we
Ah,
have
okay.
7 episodes to share. I think we're gonna put like a goal of views. So then, when we reach certain
Amount of views.
amount of views, then we go for the next level of the next episode. But we don't want to do it that long because I don't know. I'm enjoying this because the process is fun. We can talk about the episode like next time. If you watch the episode, it would be great to talk about it a little bit. For example.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to. I cannot wait like to watch it.
Oh, so sweet! Thank
So
you
I
so
can also
much.
practice my Spanish.
Yeah, maybe we can do the exercise of me speaking Spanish and you speaking Italian and see how it goes.
We can, we can.
Sí, sería entretenido probar eso. No sé cómo funzionaría en una videollamada.
Sì, possiamo farlo. Chissà, magari piace così le persone possono anche imparare italiano.
Yo creo que las personas entenderían. Hay mucha cercanía entre el castellano y el italiano.
Sì, io ho imparato spagnolo, che parlo abbastanza bene, semplicemente parlando quando viaggiavo in Centro America.
I love your language. It's so beautiful. I think it's very beautiful. Well, thank you so much for helping me with this.
Nothing, like it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing, all the behind the scenes of this new episode, and yeah.
Yeah, I would love to talk
We
again.
just need to see it now. Like I need to watch it, and also other people.
Yeah, please watch it. It's
Hopefully they
already,
got, yeah. Hopefully they got interested.
yeah. Well, at least they have this first conversation, and also the people that are interested in the project to know a little bit more. They can know.
Yeah, it's like
So,
a background.
mhm. So yeah, let's please check these links that we're gonna share down this video, and we're gonna share the vegan side of the moon links, also the links of the film, the series, so you can watch it. And thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time. And
Yeah, of course I did.
I don't know if you want to say something else.
No, thank you. And yeah, see you next time. So after I watch the series.
Perfect. Namaste.
Namaste.